I will be doing a quick review of the Japanese Tier 5 medium tank, the Type 3 GNU tank. Before I get to the stats of this tank, I want to inform you, the viewer, about two changes that I'm planning to implement in my videos, in this video and my future videos. The first one, I will be changing the layout of my videos to see how successful the current layout of my videos are. If you want to see the layout of my videos from this video point forward, you can just go to the description of the video, go to the timeline, and you will see time notes to certain parts of the videos. If the layout is quite successful, then I will keep using this layout. The second change is, if you have not noticed by now, I have used a Chinese theme garage in my Japanese tank reviews. I'm sorry if this have offended anyone. I will fix this error. I will use a neutral garage. I don't want to be sending the wrong message out and be losing viewers because of sending the wrong message out. From this point forward, I will be using a neutral garage that will be showing no nationalities whatsoever, so I will not be able to send a message that will offend people in the future. Let's get to the stats of the tank now. The stats for the Type 3 GNU, when it's fully upgraded, you will have 480 hit points. The maximum load limit will be 21.3 tons. My current setup, it is 19.06. The maximum horsepower will be 300 horsepower. My current horsepower to ton ratio, it is 15.73 horsepower to 1 ton. With the top engine, you can reach the 39-kilometer mark a little bit more faster than with the stock engine. Still, this tank is not that fast at the medium if you compare it to the other Tier 5 medium tanks that you use. The max speed, it is 39 kilometers. The whole traverse speed, it is 34. This could be better. It could be worse. It's the same story for the turret traverse speed as well. The whole armor, it is pretty bad, but if you do get to face when you do face tier 3s, when angling the armor, you can actually ricochet tier 3 rounds. The front, it is 50 millimeters for the front of the turret and the hull. The hull side, it is 25 millimeters. The rear, 20. The turret, it is 35 millimeters to the side and 25 to the rear. This tank have a very good top gun at the medium though. You can pen most tanks as long as you use the correct ammo type and aim at weak spots that you can penetrate with these. The Top Gun does allow you 12 rounds per minute with a loading time of just under 5 seconds per shell. The turret traverse, it is 36. This could be better, it could be worse. The base view range with the top turret, it is 350. You can increase this with equipment like binocular-coated optics. I prefer the binocular telescopes, which you can get close to the maximum view range, which is like 450 in game terms. The maximum radial range, it is 550 meters. As a tier 5 medium, you will you will be facing off against tier 3 tanks up to tier 7 tanks. The playstyle for the tank, there's actually 3 playstyles. 2 of them are going to be your main playstyle. You're going to be a support tank or at a sniping tank from a distance. The third playstyle, which I like to use a lot more when the situation allows me to be. The third playstyle, which I'm moderately okay at when the situation allows me to be, it is the attacking tank. If you're being the attacking tank, you just have to use distance, the environment, and your team to get to the enemy tank and use your good rate of fire gun to aim at weak spots or anywhere that you can pen on the tank. The pros for this tank, it have quite a very good gun when it comes to accuracy, so you can snipe. It have rather good gun depression and gun elevation. The depression is -10 downwards and positive 25 degrees up. In the correct hands, the top gun, the 75 millimeter tank gun Type 5, it can be quite potent if it's used properly. The cons for this tank. It's big, it's bulky, it have a lot of flat pieces of armor. It have no armor whatsoever when you're facing most of the tanks in the game. It is slow if you compare the top speed to the other mediums in the game. Also, Japanese tanks do not like howitzers if you let howitzers or artillery have their way with your tank. The research for this tank, it's rather quite straightforward. The way how I researched this tank, if I went down the light tank line from the keyhole to the key new originally, so I had to research the top tracks to put everything on. Then I would go after the 7.5 centimeter tank gun Type 99, equip that and use that to grind out the top turret. If you went down the medium line to get the key new, then you will have the 7.5 centimeter tank gun Type 99 already unlocked. Use this to continue the grinding of the tank. You will have some of the radials unlocked already, so use the best radial that you have. With the top turret unlocked, equip that just for increased view range and hit points. After the top turret is unlocked and equipped, then you will want to unlock the 7.5 centimeter tank gun Type 3 gun. You will be using this gun in the meantime until you get the top gun, which is pretty much the exact same gun, but with way better stats, which is the Type 5 variant of the gun before it. You want to have the top engine research that last, and research the engine and the radials last, because you want to have the best equipment on this tank. Once you have everything researched on the tank, you can go and grind the needed 31,150 EXP needed to unlock the Type 4 Cheeto, which will set you back just a little bit under 1 million credits for this tier 6 medium. I'm going to be showing you all the gun stats, so when all the guns are up, you should pause right now to have a look at all the gun stats. Pause it now to have a look at all the all the stats. The rate of fire from the shotgun to the top gun, it does decrease. The the average penetration does increase as you grind the other guns out. The average damage increases as well as you get better guns on this tank. The accuracy does get better as you research the top gun though. The 57 millimeter and the second 7.5 centimeter gun, they have pretty much the same accuracy. The only gun that have worse accuracy, it is the first 75 millimeter gun, which have .53 accuracy, which is pretty bad. You will just you will be using the two top guns mostly. The second top gun, it have worse pen and a little bit worse damage and worse accuracy compared to its top gun. This gun is very good to use still when you are getting the Type 5 gun on this tank. This is where the tank when it gets to be very good when you're using the top gun, the Type 5 75 millimeter, have 12 rounds a minute with good average pen for damage and good average pen and damage for pretty much most of the tanks that you're going to be seeing. For certain heavy tanks, you can just if they're angling quite well, you can just use premium ammo just to make sure your shots do penetrate well-armored vehicles if they're angling properly. The HE is good to use still. The tank gun have very good accuracy, .37, so you can snipe with it. Unfortunately, all the guns have the same aiming time, so it does take some time to getting used to the 2.3 aiming time. All the guns have the same ammo type except for the first 75 millimeter gun, which uses heat instead of the premium AP round. For me, it was quite important that I began off with a good medium crew because for me currently I'm trying to get the tier 10 Japanese medium right now. So for one tactic that I'm using right now, as I went up the line, I had a crew that I started off in the low tiers, and then gradually transferred that crew over from tier 2 up to tier 8 right now. So I have a very good crew. By the time I get to the tier 10 tank, I will have at least a 3 or 4 perk crew. The good thing is that the medium tank line have mostly the same crew slots. So you can just transfer your medium crew from tier 2 up to tier 10 though. But you do lose some crew member from tier 7 to tier 8. You just only lose the radio operator though. The consumables that I use on this tank. I use the first aid kit to repair my driver. For some odd reason, the driver get knocked out quite easily as well with the loader. The repair kit, I mostly use it to repair damaged tracks, damaged gun, and damaged turret, which for some odd reason they get damaged quite easily. And then the fire manual fire extinguisher. The tank have 15% to be set on fire, but it's always handy to have a fire extinguisher on a tank. The equipment that you want to be using for most medium tank, you want to be using vents, some sort of binocs or coated optics, and a gun rammer. Using a cabinet is not a bad idea as well if you're planning to play as a sniping tank, more or less. With the in-garage review done with, I have two replays to show you how to use this tank properly. One, which is from me, which I managed to get a Master Ace Tanker badge in, and the second one, which it is from my friend Czar, which I talk about the tank history uh, during that replay. Let's get to the two replays now. I got myself into a tier 5 match. The lesson that you learn in this replay on how to use the Chinu effectively, you just have to alter them a little bit when you're in a tier 6 or 7 match. I will point out what mistakes I made later on in the video. Throughout the match, I used sniping tactics, support tactics, and also being on the offensive as well. Though one thing that when you're on the offensive for Japanese tanks, you should try to use the terrain and your teammates to your advantage as well. Right now I just got myself into this cubby hole to ambush any tanks that come in the open here. This M4 is got in the open and moving back to the open here to take a shot at me. I sent a shell which damaged him a bit, and his shell missed me. One of his teammates, the T-67, came out to support him. I went into this cover, healed the second cubby for more protection from the two tanks' fire, and also to give me some cover while I am loading. This M4, he came out. I sent a shell to take the rest of his hit points off. Right now I am thinking of where I am needed the most now. Seeing the right side, it is handled quite well, and they can finish off any resistance there. Seeing that I am needed in the city more, I went to help them in the city. Unfortunately, the enemy team have organized a armored push in the one line. This is a bit of a risky behavior on the offensive for me, but fortunately, it actually worked out for the better. I went to their rear to get parts to shoot at weak spots and send the armored parts of their tank, while my team is keeping them distracted. Seeing them, seeing them how they were looking at the AT2, I took advantage of that and aimed at weak spots on the tank. After this, after the M4 was taken care of, this is where I made a mistake. I went on to do a one-on-one duel against the Su-85. I should have had waited for support, either from the N3 Lee or the T-67, to finish off this Su-85. Unfortunately, I managed to win this one-on-one duel with some of my hit points left. I took advantage of my good rate of fire to finish off this Su-85. From this match, I got myself the Master Ace Tanker badge for the Chinu. I also got some other medals as well, though. The uh, the picture coming up after this replay is the battle results for the Chinu Master Ace Tanker match. Let's get to the next replay. This replay, I am in I am in the platoon with my friend Czar. You are seeing my friend point of view in this match in his Chinu. Czar, he will show you how he uses his Chinu. From just looking at his setup here, I see he have binocular telescopes and a telescope. He have the same consumable layout as I do. Well, now Czar is going to the middle of the map to see any tanks that he can shoot at, and also spot for Artie. He just spotted like 3 tanks. That 38T, the Crusader, and that M3 Stuart. If I remember from this replay, I did not fare that well in this match. As if I remember correctly, I got killed by one of the 2 Excelsiors that went to the hill there. As seeing the railway area is secured, Czar came back to this frontier to get some shots on the side of the tanks on this road in this area here. Czar is using the distance to his advantage and using the terrain to cover most of his weak spots. So far, Zar have not taken a single hit of damage yet. He will eventually he will eventually take some damage, but it's going to be just a little bit of health loss. He got hit from the one hit by the Excelsior there, and another round, which is about to be hitting him quite soon. I did not survive that long. That Excelsior used his his gun with the good rate of fire to destroy me in less than a minute. That's PD3A damaged Tsar using his magazine fed gun. He only did 11 damage. So Tsar is in good shape still. Seeing where there is a opening or where he is needed the most, Tsar went to the left side here. This enemy T14 is making his way up the road, getting hit by the TD and the KB. Tsar managed to get a quick shot to the side of the T14 before he falls back into the side of the hill for protection. Right now, the red team is winning, but the green team is going to make that score even again. One Excelsior is spotted. Zara is keeping a good amount of distance between him and the Excelsior, which is quite important because if any of these tanks get close to him, Zara is going to be in trouble. Unless if, unless if he can manage to destroy them before they actually get so close that the Ram 2 and the Excelsior can just use their good rate fire gun to rip Zar to pieces. Right now, it's just a waiting game. These two Excelsiors, they have to go. Once these two Excelsiors are dead, getting rid of the rest of the enemy team is going to be easy. One of the Excelsiors already have a top gun. With one taken care of, the green team is focusing their fire to get rid of this other Excelsior. With these two taken care of, getting rid of the TL3s, 4 and 5 is going to be easy now. Just later in this replay, the D2 is alive still will take a shot on our front plate, which will just ricochet. At this tier, when you're facing tier 3, you can actually ricochet tier 3 guns. There are just certain tier 3 guns that will penetrate you though, but you can still ricochet tier 3 guns still if they do not have the pen, or if you're using the armor and using it quite effectively to ricochet some of tier 3 rounds. Still, TDs at tier 3 can be a pain to use still. The RD is in its usual spot, so I will have no problem penning the birch gun. The ramp 2, he was last spotted at D9. The KV with 5 kills, he is about to ask to try if he can have the top gun. Zara is getting into the cap circle to cap. Generally, when people the birch gun in the open there with no armor whatsoever, Zara can pen it with ease. The KV1 on our team, Tel Telvi, he almost have a top gun. The KV, he's asking if he can have the top gun. Most of the time, people are not going to give you the top gun. You may be lucky from time to time if people on the team are nice enough to give you the last kill so you can actually get the top gun. Unfortunately, some people are not nice enough to give people the top gun that they needed. Zara is he is in the cap circle now, getting some cap points. Last time the ramp 2, I assume if you haven't moved, he would have been in the D9 area. That ramp 2, he probably had connection issues or something. This match is going to be a close one. We are either going to be winning by capping or by having the Ram 2 killed. Fortunately, the KV there got his top gun, which is pretty good for him. Zarhiel, he got himself 1200 damage with his replay finished up with. Let's go back to the garage and do a quick recap back in the garage. The Geno, it is a good tier 5 medium to use. Once you have gotten used to the strengths and the weaknesses, which this thing does have. Once you have learned how to use this tank properly, then you can actually actually use most of the medium in the line with these. The mediums after tier 5, they do have a slight different play style a little bit, but most of them have the same play style. Overall, in my time in my Genu, I had a lot of good games in it, and I managed to have a 50% win rate, which is pretty good for me because I usually don't do good in medium tanks at all. Overall, I'm planning to keep the Genu at a tier 5 medium to use in tier 5 matches, more or less. I hope that you learn a thing or two on how to use the Genu properly. If you like my videos, do subscribe to my channel for new weekly content. Good luck on the battlefield, everyone.